So this is my spicy meatball version of this very classic Thai coconut and lime soup. It's my version of Tom Kha Gai. So first up we're going to do the meatball part, and I'm doing a chicken meatball, and I've got a couple of tricks here for you guys to get the perfect meatball texture. Now I'm going to start off with a little bit of garlic. Just going to grate that straight in, and then I want some spring onion and some coriander. Now if you don't like coriander, just feel free to leave it out for this one, it's okay. A little bit of fish sauce as well, which is going to give us that kick of umami and saltiness, and some breadcrumbs. If you wanted to keep this gluten-free, you can leave these out. I like the softness that a breadcrumb brings to the meatballs, so that's why I'm adding it in. And then I want a pinch of salt, and then my little secret tip for these meatballs is a couple of spoonfuls of coconut milk, which we're going to use the coconut milk for the soup anyway. This extra liquid gets soaked up with the panko breadcrumbs, and that's what gives us a really nice soft texture. I don't want to work these too hard. I really want a nice soft meatball, so I'm going to keep the mixture fairly loose. Just mix it together until it's just combined. Okay, so we're gonna make the meatball part later. We're gonna get onto the soup first. So the base for a classic Tom Kha Gai soup is always coconut milk. And I wanna add some water to that as well. And now we wanna flavor this soup base with a whole bunch of amazing, beautiful Thai ingredients. First off, we've got galangal. Now, galangal is related to ginger, but not the same thing. And I'll slice this thinly, and then let's have a smell. Really sort of, it's almost a lemongrass smell to it. It's a very high note, a very lemony kind of note, and that's what gives us a very classic Tom Kha Gai flavor. Okay, now the other thing I'm going to add is lemongrass. So slice off the end and just peel off any of that outer sort of woody, dry part of the lemongrass. And just want to bruise the lemongrass, cut that into little battens. That goes into our soup base as well. And then the last very traditional ingredient is kaffir lime leaves. Just peel off the stems. Okay, one tip with these is to release all of their oils and flavors and aromas. Just give them a good scrunch before you throw them into your pot. Okay, now I am going to treat my coconut milk like it's a queen. So coconut milk, as most of you know, will curdle really easily. I know that because lots of you guys have been writing in and telling me. So a couple of things: don't boil it, keep it on a really gentle heat, and only stir it in the one direction. I don't know why that works, but it does. So there you go. I want to heat this until it's just starting to steam up a little bit, definitely not boiling. So we'll let that go, and in the meantime we'll do our mushrooms. So I've got some straw mushrooms here. This is the traditional Thai mushroom that you would add to this soup, but you can use whatever kind of mushroom you've got to hand. Okay, and I'm going to add some oyster mushrooms as well, and these have a very beautiful name in Thai. It's Het Nang Pha, which is angel mushroom, which I just love. If the stalk feels a little bit firm and woody, just cut those off. Now I can see that I'm just starting to get a few tendrils of steam lifting up off that coconut milk, so I'm going to add in my meatballs. Now I'm just using a mini ice cream scoop to do these meatballs. One, because it's way easier than getting my hands dirty, and two, it actually keeps the meatball really nice and loose, which means it's going to keep nice and soft while it's cooking in our soup. But obviously you can go ahead and do these with your hands as well. Poaching the meatballs in here instead of frying them off first is going to keep the meatballs nice and juicy. It's also going to allow all of the chicken juices to flavor our soup as well. Okay, I can see these chicken meatballs are almost cooked, so I'm going to add in my mushrooms. Stir those through. Now you just want to gently simmer this about 4 or 5 minutes, or until those chicken meatballs are completely cooked through. Okay, now the final seasoning for this soup happens at the end. The meatballs are a little bit rogue, and now I'm going to make this a little spicy. So this dish traditionally in Thailand is not a super spicy dish, but you know, personal preference. So I'm going to add in 4 or 5 bird's eye chilies, and I just want to bruise them a little to release their heat and their flavor. These are going to go in as well. And then we also need to season with some fish sauce and just a little dash of sugar. And at this point, I'm going to turn the heat off. Then I'm going to add the lime. So this is my biggest tip for making this soup, is that the lime comes in after the heat is off, because if you boil the lime juice, you lose all the tanginess and the freshness and the flavor. Now you really want to be able to taste the lime juice here. This is the main flavors you're tasting for the coconut and that beautiful tangy lime flavor. That is so deliciously comforting. I'm going to add in more lime though, so let's have a look. Now we're at the perfection stage. Lime, a beautiful amount of saltiness, that creamy coconut, and that savory chicken flavor. Heaven.